From the south-south to the southwest, in order to ease the burden and challenges of owning a house in Ogun State, the state governor has launched a scheme tagged the Opic Home Advantage Purchase System, targeted at people working in the state and residents of paid employment. Unveiling the scheme at a press briefing held at the headquarters of the Ogun State Property and Investment Corporation, Opic, an investment arm of the state, the general manager, Mr. Babjide Odusolu, informed that intending homeowners are expected to pay a 30% down payment of the total cost of the building. He also assured prospective buyers of speedy completion and quality housing and reiterated the commitment of the government towards providing affordable housing for residents of the state.
What the Opic Advantage Purchase Plan offers is that for any career person, and we are intentionally limiting it to career persons. Please know I did not say any civil servant. Any career person. Career person simply defined means if you are in paid employment, I can demonstrate that you've been in paid employment for over a year, and can actually get the HR when you're coming to write us saying, oh yes, this person is our staff, he's a good staff, I will believe that he can afford to pay for his house. Once you're in paid employment, you fall into the catchment that we want to address with the Opic Advantage Plan. Now, what we are offering this catchment is pretty simple. They can afford to key into our own purchase plan, sign up to buy any of our houses in any of our estates. What we do is we offer them the opportunity to pay a 30% initial commitment. And where it's a fully finished house, they can take their keys that same day. They can move into the house, and then we then give them a 3-year payment plan, interest-free, during which they can pay the balance of the purchase cost. Now, under the Opic Home Advantage Plan, it means that for 3 years, you are literally renting your own house. Because you are treated like a tenant, even though you are paid the deposit for the house. So you have 3 years within which to then complete your payment.
And now to give us further details of this scheme is the General Manager of the Ogun State Property and Investment Corporation, Mr. Babjide Odusolu, who joined us by phone. Thank you, sir, for joining us. And if you can hear me, Mr. Odusolu, do you have to be an indigent of Ogun State to enjoy this scheme? There are people who are working in Ogun State who are residents, but they are not indigents.
No, you do not have to. Yes, you do not have to be an indigent of Ogun State to participate in the scheme. Can you hear me?
Yes, indeed I can. Please go on.
Yes, you do not have to be an indigent of Ogun State to participate in the scheme. Yet, it is primarily targeted at career employees. Of course, our preference is for people who already work for organizations active in Ogun State.
Do you also, are the houses, are they ready? Are they completed? Because nowadays...
Well, what we're doing is that it's a new scheme that's going to be used with all our existing housing schemes. So we have developed houses in Agbara as we speak, and also in Abeokuta that the schemes now apply to. And it's also going to apply to the ones that we're developing in Isheri. We're starting a new project, 600 housing units in Isheri called MCR Gardens. This scheme is now going to be applicable to it. The driving concept is that 25% of the housing stock in every new community being developed will now be set aside for purchase by career professionals.
Okay, so that means that the scheme at the stage it is at is not as though the houses are ready and completed.
I didn't get that.
It is not as though the houses are already completed and ready to be moved into at this point.
No, it includes the houses that are already completed. It applies both to completed, ready to move in houses,
okay,
and the ones that are off plan.
Now, this obviously will lighten the load for people who want to purchase houses and who live and work in Ogun State. What's the motivation behind this scheme? Hello?
Well, the motivation, thanks for that question. The motivation is pretty simple. This government has one of its cardinal programs as provision of affordable housing across the state. Now, when you talk about affordability, it means to make it convenient for people to pay for it and for them to be able to project their income and own homes without having too much complication and stress. So the idea is to increase access to housing stock for people resident in Ogun State and people that are interested in moving to Ogun State. As you're probably aware, the state has done a lot of investment in infrastructure development. And the whole essence of that is to make the state a more welcoming environment for people looking to relocate or looking to put their families here in a safe environment while they then have the business wherever they choose to have it in the country.
That's excellent. But I'm thinking that you said affordable. I like what you said. You said that there's a zero interest rate. But how affordable are these houses really? What income level are you targeting? Are they in the neighborhood of 20 million naira, 30, 100 million?
When you talk about affordability, okay, let's start from the level we're targeting. The band starts from 7.5 million naira for starter homes. Starter homes are literally two-bedroom terrace bungalows that are being located in New Marco City along the Shagamu interchange, that are being located across Abeokuta, that are located in Agbara as we speak. Now, those units go for 7.5 million naira. Then it goes up to our detached bungalows, which go for between 10 and 15 million naira, also in all these various locations. Cascades up to the apartments that we're doing in the Sherry, that are going for 18 million naira and 25 million naira. And of course, you then have the Orange Valley prototypes. Those are semi-detached duplexes that you're scrolling on the screen that go for 35 million naira. We have a wide band, and it's a recognition that the same way you have a large cadre of people in employment, we have to provide for everybody. Now, affordability simply means we make the payment terms convenient, because unfortunately, cost of construction is quite high, so you can't make the houses as cheap as we would love to at this point.
Isn't the 3-year stretch a little too short for that affordability clause to work? Depending on how yes.
You're starting from ground zero, you would agree with me. Right now, nothing is available. You've got to find cash to buy the houses. So now you don't have a 3-year plan.
Okay.
So what we're also doing is we're partnering with the banks, and we're challenging them that if we and the states can actually afford to allow people to pay for 3 years, then they should be able to stand up to the plate and extend the tenure. But you do have to recognize that this is an interest-free scheme, and it is designed to make ownership flexible. So once you can pay over that period or pay substantial part, you can actually then apply at the same time for a proper mortgage and use that to extend your tenure.
Okay. Okay. Finally, this seems just the kind of scheme that will help people who obviously didn't have bulk money, and saving to that point is always a challenge because of present needs in this economy. This obviously seems like something that will work for people who are living and working in Ogun State. What's your final word on why people should be a part of this scheme?
Well, the final word is this. If you've ever aspired to own a home and you have a good job or you have a steady income, you can now project and say to yourself, okay, over the next 4 years, over the next 5 years, I want to move into my own house. So rather than going to look for land somewhere and start scraping money together to buy, you can actually sign up to this program, open a savings account with one of the participating banks, build up your equity over a year or 6 months or over the next 18 months, apply, take ownership of a house, and then get a further 3-year tenure with which to pay. It makes it easier and more accessible. And that's what this is all about, making it easy, making it affordable, reducing the burden of home ownership while deepening the housing stock available in the country.
Thank you so much for making out the time to talk to us.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Babjide Odusolu, he is the General Manager of the Ogun State Property and Investment Corporation, talking to us about the new scheme called the Opic Home Advantage Purchase System that makes owning a home more affordable in Ogun State. You're watching news, news across Nigeria. And after the break, when we come back, civil defense in Abia State.